Hi there, and welcome back, friends of a Thoughtful Gaming Experience. This is your host, Emmanuel Can, and we're back for another game. No, we're not back for another game of Wizardry 8 yet. We're back for the analysis of the old Wizardry 8 game that we just finished, and something strange has happened. As you have seen, I have finished the game. And yeah, I did some play testing already with new groups I had in mind. But at the end of the game, there's some save game called ending.sav. And it's not there. I should be able to load it, but I'm not able to. Why is that? Now, I suspect this has something to do with this number here. This is the special good old games version of Wizardry 8. It's version 1.2.6 instead of 1.2.4, which is the standard final version of Wizardry 8, and probably the game is saved in 1.2.4 and not 1.2.6. So yeah, we wanted to see the statistics of this. So I think it makes not a big difference. Well, we killed the Dark Savant and all, but let's just load the last game we have here on Ascension Peak and look at the statistics here. This has the additional thing that we also have our Valkyrie with us, so let's look at these guys. Now, first the RPCs. The RPCs will have, of course, less skills, less statistics than our original guys, or I think so at least. Now we have RFS 81. He's a very loyal companion. Once you have him, he won't leave you. He'll go everywhere. You can take him with you, except to the Repex camp. The Repex away camp, that is. So, let's see here. He has 324 kills, only 5 deaths. Quite good modifiers, a really high initiative. It's +2 speed, +8 stealth skill, +7 from magic items. He has a high damage absorption of 15% at least. He has, of course, no magic skills, but he has good resistances, very high divine, and very high mental resistance, and okay other resistances. Now his skills have gone up quite nicely. He has been using a pole arm for the whole time I've played him. And as soon as I got the Dread Spear, he got it. So yeah, his pole arm is already up to 116, which is also due to the weapon he has. Let's see. Which gives pole arm +20, so in reality he has 96, which is close to the maximum you can get. And yeah, so he's a pretty good melee combatant. He has Power Strike and Snake Speed. Power Strike will help him strike through, and Snake Speed raises his initiative even more. Now, what are the stats he has? He has reached the 100 strength and 100 speed, and pretty high vitality and dexterity. He has a lot of current personal effects. He has the Helm of Serenity with him, and quite some AC boni and cloaks and all that kind of stuff you see here. So that about RFS. Now let's go to Y. Let's go with her. She doesn't have the nice stealth and so bonuses, but still, she's got 294 kills and only 1 death. She has a pretty high initiative. You can see her to damage there, which is due to her maxed out strength. Now let's go to the magic realm we have her. And you see, I used water and the divine magic most, and also we have some fire magic here, but that is mostly resistance, and yeah, not skill like that way. Skill is in here, and of course you will use with a Valkyrie if you don't train her specially, and if she's oriented on combat, you will use divine magic to heal wounds and to make the buffs and resurrections, and of course water magic for rest all and kind Superman and that. So yeah, these two are the most important skills for the Valkyries. You'll see that with Brunhilda too later. So about the skills, you see we have maxed out the polearm, and yeah, close combat is good. Ranged combat, the power strike is not that good, snake speed as well. But we got a pretty decent bow skill at the end of the game. And of course we pumped her with resistances because that's what she needs. Basically, we reached 100 strength and 100 speed, which was our goal, and got a pretty high vitality and dexterity. And her equipment, let's look at it again. Again, the Dread Spear, the Ebony Home, Plate Mail +3, just a normal Steel Gauntlets, a Hunter's Cape. The Hunter's Cape from the start, so you see this is pretty good until the end, so don't miss it when you play the game. Have a great bow with her. Nothing special, but you can finish the game with that, as you see. Now let's go over to Iguania, our bard. And you see, yeah, she was in the front line, so she has 7 deaths here. She has a whopping 150% to damage due to her high skills and high values in melee as a lizardman. And let's see, she has just the standard bascinet. She has a midnight cloak with her, braces of defense, ring of the road, which gives her even more strength, standard mail mittens, so thieves buckler for speed. Not a stellar equipment, but Fang is a pretty good weapon with 10% plus to kill, and a strong bow is also a pretty good bow here. Other than that, she has the Ariel slippers still and the Oberon's greaves. This bard equipment will last you until the end. So you see here she has a +2 to speed, a +2 from shield, +5 from magic item, and she has +4 to penetration, which should be due to, yeah, well, her resistances are only by items, not by spell skill, which can be seen here. Pretty low. So it really helps if you have casting skills and train them for your resistances. Now her close combat and sword, we didn't ever put 1 point into it, I think, and it got pretty high still. Her power strike is pretty exceptional in our party with 67. It also shows that you have to go for that early to get the maximum use out of that. So with shield, I think we never trained it, and it got to 64 even. So pretty good value, I think. The same with the bow. Yeah, you can see if you don't train the skills, then at the end you won't have the stellar values, but they are good enough to beat the game. Now let's go for her stats. See, we have maxed out her strength, her speed, senses are high, her vitality is high, her dexterity we have raised pretty high. And you can see here that the bard gets very good items for raising attributes. You can see the effects here. Perhaps I'll show only that, not the items, because, yeah, the only interesting items are the braces of defense and all the magic items, I think. So there we go. She has the braces of defense, the ring of the road with +20 strength, close combat midnight cloak, a gown of divine mail from the Rapex Rift, which is very, very good. It's cursed though, but that doesn't matter. With plus 15 vitality and divine resistance, it's a very good choice. Now Fang is a pretty good sword we got from one of the retro dungeons, the Thief's Buckler. You can get that pretty early and it's still good in the end. Even though there are better shields, as a bard you can't use many of them, so yeah, the aerial slippers with the resistance and senses and the Oberon's Greaves with resistance and speed are very, very good as well. So, this was Iguania, our bard. Let's go over to the other Valkyrie, Brunhilda, and she managed to never get killed. She has reached a damage absorption of 8% due to her being a dwarf. You see, that helps. She has a speed plus, and she has a pretty good versus penetration. Yeah, her character info is, that's not that interesting. Base AC, average AC 26 due to her plate armor that is easily reachable. You can see here we reached a plus 100% to damage. She got a pretty high initiative. But only level 24. I think at level 25 most things max out class-wise, so yeah. Got the Infinity Helm. Just incredible gear here. But let's look at that when we reach the stats and the positive effects. Now, we got more casting with her than with Wy, and so her skills are slightly higher. And this reflects in the resistances as well, so she has a pretty high resistance overall due to our constant use of any spells. So, like, practice makes the king. That is really the case. She also, I think, has the highest power strike rating, which you can see here. Yellow means, I think, the highest in the party, highest power strike rating. And a maxed out pole arm here. So she's just a killing machine. I think she has the highest kills so far. Divinity is also good, and Divine Magic best in our party. Let's go back and look. 558 kills, pretty good. Now for the stats, she has the absolutely great Infinity Helm. Just a standard Aqua Ring. I don't know why she has that Aqua Ring still, not anything better, but I think we didn't go to find anything optimal like there. The Ank of Healing, I think she has that because of some other item that removes hit points. Yeah, of course, the Cloak of Many Colors for the resistances is absolutely a great item in the late game, as well as the golden breastplate here. Wow. Now the Mantis gloves are also good. Let's look at them. Plus 14 AC and 5 dexterity. It's just a dream. The golden breastplate has 16 AC, which is one of the highest in the game, I think. And all these resistances, so pretty good. Now the Dread Spear. Yeah, there's just, I think, no really better spear at the end of the game. So once you see the Dread Spear, buy it for all the people that use pole arms, and the Platinum Greaves with Iron Will even, and stamina regeneration. And as you can see here, pretty high AC. So that about Brunhilda. Now let's go over to our samurai, which she has remarkably less skills than the Valkyrie. You always think that a Valkyrie, being such a defensive class, doesn't have like high kills, but the opposite is the case, and it may be due to not as many deaths. Because Musashi is basically the perfect killing machine. I also used her spells to do area damage to get lots of kills via that. But as you can see here, it's not the best kills in the game. It's just not. Let's look at her items. She's got the brilliant helm now at the end. We found that just at the end of the game, and I should have probably gone for more than one primary sword, because this is a two-handed sword. We should have gone probably for two swords with a samurai to get more kills. Now this thing we found later, the Hikane-do, I think in the Rapex Rift, gives 30% versus fire, and we have the standard mail mittens with her, an oilskin cloak, an Anchor of Might, so really not stellar equipment. Chainmail pants because of resistances being better than armor class later on. See, we also have the speed bonus, the penetration bonus here. And yeah, now with her we have a pretty high average skill, except for mental magic. For resistances and magics, which can be pretty helpful there. You see, she's best at fire magic, of course at wizardry and at air magic, the highest sword skill, and probably lost some time trying to use a dagger with her when she had bloodlust. So that's the reason she doesn't have like the high kills, probably, but not to take anything away from Brunhilda. You see, her high strength, high speed, high dexterity led to that high killing potential. And Musashi, yeah, she also has the good skills, the good primary attributes, as you can see. Of course, being a hobbit, like you have about the highest array of attributes there. See the current effects, we have gone over that. Lots of resistances, which is pretty important in the late game. We also are the warlord here. And we have higher snake speed and still an okay powered strike rating. Now I think our monk may have won the killing race. It's either the monk or the ranger. So let's look for that. I haven't looked before. Oh, let's see. Highest stealth, pretty useful. Much of magics, which is due to her getting the brilliant helm very early. And yeah, even some power cast on the brilliant helm, or no, it was on the amulet of Nebdar. Good power strike, snake speed, and all of that. And yeah, she has topped Brunhilda with like 7 kills, which is not much. She has a penalty to senses from some item. No, it's the amulet of Nebdar, but it's so good anyway, so that that doesn't matter. So she has high armor class from the stealth skill and from the speed, from the magic items. Also when there's this penetration, it's high, and the damage absorption by a monk is pretty great. Double the rate of the dwarf. So with a dwarven monk you would get like 23%, which is incredibly good. If you need a great tank, choose a dwarven monk there. Now, let's look at her magic. She also has high average skill, a low skill though at water magic, because there's nothing really useful in the psionics department of water magic. The same with air magic. Yeah. And she was not really a caster. Yeah, we played all of our guys as melee combatants. Let's see here, we have the brilliant helm, we have the robes of rejuvenation we got relatively late, which are just great for monks with their stamina and spell point regeneration. Cloak of many colors, yeah, nothing to say here. The gem of power, which gives you power strike and even more resistances. So if you can get that, pretty good for you. As well as the amulet of Nebdar with power cast, a lot of resistances, and spell point, stamina, and HP regeneration. Now the Staff of Doom actually led to her missing some attacks, but it's just such a great staff. Look at that, 15% to kill, 10% to hex, 25% to paralyze. Wow, and it has HP drain, but that weapon really counts for a lot. It saved our butt a lot of times. The spiked boots, which you find in the caves near Beijing. And the robes of enchant with just high armor class. Still have stats here, and a lot of things being just resistances and regenerations. Now let's go over to the ranger, and surprisingly enough, he has lost the kills. Maybe because I use him so much as a healer, he has lost that race. And yeah, he's quite a lot of deaths, even if he's in the back row. But that wouldn't stop him from dying. And it may be due to his low vitality, because we didn't raise that. So it's more important if you have a low vitality than if you stand in the front to dying. Probably died to some insta-kill effects. Even if he had good resistances, as you can see here from his equipment. With the skills, you can see he has the highest ranged combat, of course, the highest mythology, highest bow. Nearly maxed out values there, not really with a bow, but yeah, with the ranged combat pretty close to that. Good scouting and alchemy. And yeah, later on we use the sword in close combat because the giant sword is a pretty good choice for that, as you can see here with KO of 30%. It really doesn't have to hide, and we wouldn't need that much ammo with us. Even gives strength +5. And you can hit things from the back row with a pretty high damage range here. High initiative as well due to his senses. Yeah, let's look at the resistances. He has had high resistances, but not in the dangerous zones of mental and divine, which are the death effects, as well as earth, which are the death effects from like quicksand. So that explains his many deaths. Now, I think who died most was our Gadgeteer. She's a creator now. She has okay resistances for a non-caster, but for general, these resistances are not high. Let's look at her items, and she has the lowest number of kills. Not surprisingly, she only gets good in the late game, and there's so much done before that. She also has the highest number of deaths, absolutely, but also the highest initiative. Yeah, you can rely on that, basically, because she gets such a high level. You always max like senses and speed and that stuff on her, so she gets the highest initiative. And I've often used, where was that thing? Yeah, the replacement for Guardian Angel on get the guys here to in the first round to save someone. Yeah. The defense modifiers are also not that great. Now for her skills, she is one of the few who has gained reflection. Increases the character's armor class. That is what you get from dexterity, as you see here. It is a pretty good skill, but I didn't raise it much because she's in the back row and this is a defensive skill. But she has the highest eagle eye as well and the highest snake speed. Yeah, nothing to say about that. The modern weapon actually did max out and the ranged combat came close to that. Also, the engineering was pretty good. Locks and traps, yeah, we used her for that and didn't max out, but it was enough. It was enough with the help of some magic. We got that. In the end game, though, we used her staff and wand, which is why this is green and was rising. Let's look at the items. We found the flame staff and yeah, because of the many missile shields the opponents raised, we use the flame staff as well. With blind 20%, it's really a good choice. It's not cursed as well, so if you get that thing early, then it's a really good thing to train your guys with that. And of course, here's the maxed out Omnigun. MK12 is the highest level you can reach. With the Omnigun, has +4 to hit, +4 initiative. All these special attacks here, doing basically everything. Yeah, and you can use now like any kind of any kind of ammo in that thing. And if I had used more expensive ammo, she might have more kills compared to the others. Also found the snakeskin boots late in the game, which are just great boots with her snake speed and the speed plus 10. Just incredibly good. She also has the divine mail we found later and the midnight cloak, giving her close combat, but there was just nothing better than that. Also the pendant, the Helizoid pendant with the eagle eye plus 10, which also helped her. And the Tinker's carry all bracers are really good for the Gadgeteer. Why strength plus 20? She won't use that much in melee. Of course she has her Omnigun, but you always have these heavy gadgets in your inventory, so that helps there much. Now you can see here the current personal effects are, as you see, mostly resistances and some attributes pretty similar to the Bard, which has also a lot of attributes. Now, her primary attributes, we managed to max out dexterity, speed and senses due to her high level. That was no problem. Also vitality is close to maxing out with the items at least, and her strength, I raised that later, was also like to help her get more stamina and to help her carry better. All in all, we carried too much with us, probably. That was also due to me not wanting to throw things like the Kanazu dagger away. It is a pretty good dagger, you get it late in the Rapax Rift. But yeah, it's not a good weapon for the late game. There are better weapons, like even the Flame Staff is better. And we have amassed pretty much of gold and items on different chests in the game too. But all in all, we could say this was a big success. We have seen that a party of non-primary casters, none of them is a primary caster, even not for buffs or something like that, can easily beat the game. In the late game it started that like everything there just was shredded to pieces. The Dark Savant himself was just the last example for that. So yeah, our party formation was like that. We got the Ranger and the Gadgeteer in the back. Got the Valkyries and monks on the flanks where they belong, being the toughest guys out there, and the Bard and the Ranger in the middle. Bard being a melee Bard. You can also play a ranged Bard, which is a very good choice as well. But I wanted to play a melee Bard for a change, so I took a Lizardman Bard. Yeah. So this was a statistical overview, the aftermath of this great run I so enjoyed. Unfortunately, we couldn't load the ending save. It is there, but we cannot load it with this version here from Good Old Games, which was the only version that ran on my computer, not the 1.2.4, remember, but the 1.2.6, and the ending .saf is probably a 1.2.4 save game. So I hope all of you who were interested in the statistics got what they wanted. So the most killed award goes to Taoya, the female human monk, and the most effective combatant goes to Brunhilda with no deaths and close to the kills of Taoya. So if you need really someone who can pack a punch, choose a Valkyrie, as you see here. She never even died, a Dwarven Valkyrie. Very, very good. So, hope you enjoyed this. Please take your choice. We have a choice to make still, which is the choice between three groups. The Masters of Magic, the Keeping It Real group, and the Sample Superstars. I have the group down there in the description, and we will try to make another playthrough with one of these in the expert mode, of course. The Masters of Magic being just just primary casters, with the exception of a fairy ninja skilled to caster and a ranger, but skilled for casting. The keeping it real guys are the minimum amount of magic users, for me at least, without have to turn on and off scouting with a bishop, and the ranger is the only magic users there. And sample superstars are just a much improved version of the sample party, which allow for a very great and probably very, very quick tutorial run. We could beat any time there. It would be... We would... with any party we will play an exploration game, so we will try to explore everything there is again. Every map there is, we want to explore everything and want to experience every combat. And this will be especially interesting with the Masters of Magic, I think, because we will only use spells there if we can. So that will be pretty interesting in the late game, where spells start or stop to be pretty effective. But at the start of the game, or shortly after the start, spells rule the game for a long time in the middle game. But it will be interesting to see if we can beat the game with just casting spells. Yeah, it will also be interesting to see how we fare nearly without spellcasters, because we cannot cure or heal them that easily with a keeping it real party, as the ranger, I'll skill him just for melee combat mainly, and ranged combat. And yeah, with the sample party, it will be interesting to see how quickly we can smash through the game, because that is what we want to do. So thank you for watching. This is Immanuel Can signing out, wishing you happy gaming. See you around for the next run of Wizardry 8. Have a great time until then.